instead of having a crappy, non-responsive table like this, or HTML table like this, as you can see, so see that it's very, you can't really see if you are running on a mobile phone or a mobile device. So you see that some of the items are hidden, and then you have to scroll to the right to see it, and this is unacceptable. So why not have something like this? You have a responsive HTML table, as you can see. So you see that as I slide it to the left, see that it changes to mobile screen size, and it gives me a proper view of how it should look like. So look at this one now. If it's on a bigger screen, it looks like that. When it's on a smaller screen, it looks like that. See how cool that is. Let's get right into it. So this is my code editor. So you can use any code editor that you want. All right. So I have two files: the HTML file, that is the index of HTML, and the CSS file. The CSS file resides within the CSS folder. All right. So see that both files are blank. So just pick HTML5 there, and it gives you this little boilerplate. So we change the title to how to create responsive HTML table. Then we'll just quickly link to the CSS file. Okay, so once we link to the, remember that CSS file resides within the CSS folder. Okay, so as you can see right here, so this is where it is. Okay, so the next thing is to add a header or heading tag. So we just call this one responsive table. Then we add a table tag, then within which we add t-head. Then of course we now have the various tags there that will hold the headings, the table heading. So we have first name, then we have full name, then we have year or year of birth, then we have a sex, and so on and so forth. So email, phone, country, occupation, hobby. Okay, so then that is for the head. Then we need to create the T body. So it will be within, then T body will have the various rows, the various table data within a row. So one row will contain each of the values, like number one, the name, the year, the gender or sex, as the case may be, the email, phone, and so on and so forth. So we have this. Then this empty tag, or this one that has that's empty there, we'll see what we're going to do with that in a moment. Okay, so let me just copy this and paste it, then just edit it, paste it here. So just edit it. So see, this is what we have so far. So I need to edit it to have, because I need several rows, like several rows. I'll just quickly copy that and modify it. So this is what we have so far. All right, so now this is still barely HTML. So what we need to now do is to use CSS to make it look better than this. Okay, so we'll go to the CSS file. So here, every tag within this project will have a margin of 0 and padding of 0. Then of course the font family should be of the system UI. Then of course you can choose anyone. So then that header or that heading will be put at the center. Font weight will be 200. Then we need to use a font size, a responsive font size. So we have the first one being is the minimum, while the 4 view W is the preferred, then the 3 rem is the maximum. So note that preferred, note that minimum, preferred, then maximum. Okay, so this is how it looks so far. Doesn't really have anything to, we can actually see it later when we start implementing. Then we'll make a margin top of 34 px. Then the table needs to be at the middle. So we'll say margin 0 auto. So that puts it at the middle of the screen. Then we need to specify the distance between top and it will make it a margin top 35, margin bottom 34. Then of course the width will be 90. Then the T head and TD, then we need to align every text within that center. Okay, so then let's make it left actually. Then padding will be 18.8, 18.8. Then of course the border will be 1px solid, then something very light as a line or the color of the border. So now you can see that little column there that doesn't have any header is that empty TD that we specified earlier. So this particular, this one, where is it? Yeah, this one. That empty tag, I mean that class empty, that's what means that column that is blank. So we now see that empty, we don't want it to show. So we don't want it to show now. We are going to make use of it when it changes to mobile screen. So now it is removed. Then we now see the T head, the table header will have a color, certain color, background color, as you can see. So look at it there. Then you can see this little line here. You can see that they are more or less like double. We want it to be clean, single borders everywhere. Okay, so what we need to do, we say we go back to this table tag here, this table area here. So now say border collapse, then collapse. So that collapses the borders, because you can see that they are now tiny little borders. So they are no more in twos like they used to be, or they are no more individual sort of. Okay, so now that we've done that, so the next thing we need to do, work on the table row. So then we say table row ends child. So what we want to do here is that at even row we should have a certain color, that is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 and so on. So we want to have a certain color. So let's see how it looks like. So you can see it looks pretty cool. Okay, so now we use even, that is, it needs to be 2, 4, 6, 8 and so on. Then if you make it odd, so it will be 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15 and so on. So as you can see, right, so but I would prefer it to be even. So take it back to even. So now go back here, come down here. So we now need to work on the responsiveness. So on the responsiveness, so we'll say media. So at media, so we now need to specify the only screen, and you can simply just say media, but I just like to use only screen, and then you specify the width that it will take effect. In this case, we're using 800px. So then the table will have a minimum size of 350 px. Then the table head will be displayed none, that is, to not be shown when you are on a mobile screen. So let's test that out. So on mobile screen, we want that to disappear. So as you can see that when it's on mobile screen, it doesn't show that table head. So we're going to create a different table head for it. Okay, so that's what we have so far. Of course, it's not responsive yet, so don't worry, we're going to get there. So now, so let me make this one 100%. Okay, so let's go back. So here let me comment that so that I see how it is. So you can see how where that was displayed none. So let's remove the comment. So we'll continue with the coding. All right, so what we'll do now is that we'll come down here. So we'll now say the table data, that's TD, to display block. So as you can see, so see how it displays now. So it is no more displaying the other way it used to be. So see that it's looking like it sort of now. Okay, so just say display block, then you align the text right, then you change the color to a certain color, light gray sort of. Then we now say TD, then pay attention here, pay very close attention here. So we now see the TD before, so that is before the TD. Then we use this studio element here. So we now say before TD before, then content attributes. Remember that table, that data label we created earlier here in the HTML side. So here, so we know that every TD or every table data has a data label. Okay, so we now say that the content of attribute data label. Okay, so now what do we do with this? So what I want to do is that we now say float everything to right. So float everything to right. So let's see how it looks like. Oh no, we need to float to left, so it doesn't overlap. So it needs to be, so the more or less the title or the column head will be at the left, while what they are representing will be at the right. So let's say left here. So when you say left, so look at it. So you see that it looks cool. So you see that the full name will be at the left, the year, sex, and the rest will be at the left, while the data will be at the right, what it represents. Okay, so you can see how responsive it is now. See that it looks pretty cool. All right, so but now it's jamming. That is, there's no space between each of the elements. I mean each of the records. So what I need to do, that's when we now need to use that empty tag that we created earlier, or the table data that has empty class. So we now say display block. So what that does is that it's going to put a gap. So you can see now that it's display now. So it puts a gap in between the record on top of it and the one below it. Okay, so they will now say margin top 32px. So you could just manipulate this to suit your design. So if you look at it, I see that it gives that gap. So we want to have more or less like this, like a card now, like having individual cards. Okay, so then of course you can determine how you want it to be. So we now say border 0 because it was showing border around that time. So you can see that it looks clean now. So you can see, but the problem is that the one at the other side is still showing. So we now need to say, so you can see that it's still showing the one before it. So what we now need to do is to say margin bottom. So we now need to say background color. You have white. So you can see now that the background color is white. So that pretty much gives you that gap between each of the cards. Okay, so as you can see, I think this looks, it begins to look like it. Let's see. Okay, let's change this. Let's change this one to 1.7. Okay, so you can see now that it looks cool. So it looks cool. So if you remember that if I remove that, you see that the responsive table title, you see that it's just big. It doesn't respond. It doesn't adjust based on the size. So, but this font size clamp does that responsiveness. I'm going to do a video on some of these things, maybe the next time or in the nearest future. Okay, so this is pretty much what you have, but there's a little issue here. So you can see that it more or less just attaches to the body. There's no space per se for those who are using mobile phones or mobile devices. Okay, so what we need to do here is to say the table size when it's on mobile devices should be 98%. So you can see the little gap between the frame and the table itself. Okay, so that's pretty much what we have. Then something else. So let's bring this table, TD here. So let's bring this tag here now. So now say TRO end child. So we want it looks a little bit more, a little bit darker. So you can see now that if you remove the color from that end, it looks cleaner. So like I said, it depends on what you want. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already. Like the video and share it. Thank you for watching. See you in another video.